There is a guy selling chickens in a car right now. I don't know if you can hear it. Hi, and welcome to this week's video. If you watched my last video, you probably heard me mention that my right hand is hurting a lot, or was hurting. Is a little bit better, but I still feel some pain here and there. So, based on that, I decided to do something that I start sometimes and then I stop and then I come back to it, which is learning how to use my left hand. And by that I mean learning how to draw, how to write. So, based on that, I decided to do this week's video learning how to use or gaining a little bit of dexterity with my left hand. Now, I don't know how this is gonna go, and I also not gonna do like a week. It's probably gonna do 1 or 2 days doing these exercises. Now, as about the exercises, I'm using very basic drawing exercises that a lot of people reference: drawing planes, drawing circles, trying to make a straight line, and I probably gonna train writing motion, drawing cubes, very basic stuff. I also don't expect that I'm gonna gain this in 2 days. Like, that is not how this works, but this is more like a tipping my toes. I probably gonna do way more videos about it, especially because my hand still hurts. And yeah, that is it. So let's go to the video. Okay, so I decided to start doing these exercises in my sketchbook. Now, this sketchbook in particular is one that I use for not very experimental stuff, just studies and things like that. Also, I use for planning or for ideas that I have. And I had some pages that I need to use to finish the sketchbook, so I just decided to do these exercises in them. Now, I started with a very basic exercise, which is putting some dots in the page and doing some straight lines from one to another. So I'm not going into much detail on these exercises because, again, they are very basic general exercises that a lot of people use when you are starting to draw, and you have a lot of resources for this type of exercises. Also, this is not the point of this video. This is not a tutorial or anything. I am dipping inside this with no research done. I'm doing things from my mind, and that is how I just started. I wanted to show you quickly how I do this exercise with my right hand. Like you can see, they're not perfect, but they are straight. And this one is gonna be with my left hand. Like, and I'm trying to make them straight, just so you can actually see me doing this on camera, so you see that I'm not faking it. So yeah, this is gonna take a really long time. Also, oops. Also, this pen is kind of failing, or I don't know how to use it yet. But yeah, this is gonna take a long time. And when I was kind of fed up with lines, I started doing this swirly motion that remembers a lot like writing. Can I be honest? I'm on this half an hour and I'm already have a bad time. For some reason this motion here is so hard to do it. Like this. I cannot reproduce it. Like it's so hard. If this is hard, imagine how circles will be. Like, it's still better than this. Like, this motion is really hard. Okay, let me back to my suffering. The circles were a very interesting one because they were not that hard as the swirly motion that I was doing. Anything that resembles writing is very complicated to do with your left hand. It's very weird. But the circles were better. I mean, they don't look good, but they were better to do. And yeah, I kept going on it for some pages into the night. I sit and watch stuff on YouTube, this is the kind of exercises that they don't need your 100% attention. This is like dexterity training. This is like coordination training. So you don't need to be 100% on it. And it's a good way if you need to exercise drawing, or if you need to train, or you want to draw but you don't know what you want, or you're very tired and you don't want to do a full-on drawing. This is the kind of stuff that you do. You draw boxes, you draw circles, you draw lines, and you make sure that your coordination is on check, basically. So I was just organizing some files in my computer, but yesterday I finished of doing some exercises, some very basic exercises in here. I finally finished this kind of sketchbook, kind of messy, experimental and testing and studying kind of book. Anyway, so now I'm probably gonna start a new one of these. I have a bunch of this that I made with already used sheets, so they needed to be used for something, and I just made this kind of sketchbook. Yeah, and I'm probably gonna try to do some shapes or planes with the left hand now. I technically started already with the circles, but I'm probably gonna do more shapes, try to do cubes, cylinders. Probably the first thing I'm gonna try to do are planes, like do, like a plane, and try to tilt them in space. I don't know how this is gonna go with the left hand, if I'm gonna be able to do it. Able, yes. If it's gonna look good is another story. Also, I don't know if I'm gonna do a tour of this, because this is just like sketches, very bad sketches, and simple doodles. Like, it's just like a very whatever sketchbook. I'm gonna call that whatever sketchbook, because it's not things that meant to be just meant to be training, I guess. Yeah, anyway, let's go. the planes were less hard than anything that resembles writing motion, but they are still kind of complicated. The planes exercise basically involve of doing the dots and kind of connect them and tilt the plane in space. This is a perspective train too. With the left hand, I was not always able to connect the whole thing of the plane, so things would be kind of crooked, but I was expecting that. Again, it's gonna take time. Also, I did circles inside the plane. So basically, you do a plane and then you find the diagonals and the two center lines, like the horizontal and the vertical, and then you draw a circle inside so you can tilt circles in space. Again, perspective training, but in this case I feel like it's good for the motion, but I don't know, I am flying by the seat of my pants, just so you know. Like, this is not a tutorial. I don't know if I said that before, but this is not a tutorial. I'm just doing stuff that I think it might work. So the cubes, they are a problem on themselves. Like, I feel I'm not very good at drawing them, even with my right hand. But normally this is problems with perspective. I feel like sometimes I mess up the perspective and the cube doesn't look that good. With the left hand, the problem is the lines are kind of crooked most of the time, and on top of that, the perspective is sometimes not that good. I was able to do it, but they don't look good. And again, the goal here is to develop that muscle memory that I already have with my right hand, and in hopes that I can use my left hand to draw. I also want to be able to use for other things. I think writing is a big one, painting is another one, which I have some plans on that. But yeah, I think that is that, and I just keep up doing it through the whole afternoon. pages, and I still have ways to go. Also, I did this for this exercise where I did the lines in pencil and then I make this motion. I think it works very well to find motion like wrist and fingers. These are basic exercises mostly to train dexterity. I still probably gonna keep doing them. Like I said in the beginning, my goal is to have way more dexterity in this and fast and be able to have coordination, so I can interchange between right hand, left hand when I need it. But yeah, that's it for this video, and I see you in the next one. Bye. I'm doing this because one of my hands hurt, and now I'm gonna make the other hand hurt. If doing this is being that hard, I'm thinking with myself, how it's gonna be to use a mouse.